What's up, everybody? This is attorney Dan Nguyen, and I want to talk a little bit about franchising. If you are a business and have considered using the franchise model to expand your footprint, I want to share some ideas with you. So somebody asked me, how many stores do you actually need to franchise? And so um, the technical answer is zero, but the practical answer is more than one. And there's no law, at least in the state of California, that requires you to have at least one store. But for practical reasons, you want to have at least one, and even more than that, probably at least three. And I'll tell you why. With the franchise process, you're going to bring in someone, ideally that has background in the industry that you are in. But franchises are designed to really take someone off the street and have a training program and plug them into your training program so that they can operate your business. So that's how good your training program should be, right? Some guy who's or gal who's not familiar with your industry, and be able to just plug them in, and they learn through your training system and your ongoing support. Now, part of the process, especially if you are in a retail system, is that they're going to need to have hands-on training running the store. So for some of my clients, what they do is they will travel to the built-out store for during the soft opening, and train them even before the softening. Train them in running a store. For others, this is probably more common, is that my clients or some franchisors will have a corporate store near their corporate office, or have a kitchen, but more likely they have a corporate store, and the franchisees will come in and fly in for however long is a training program, and operate and train in that store. And then prior to the grand opening, some of my clients will have a management team or store launch team fly out to the franchisee's particular store and help them during their soft launch right before the grand opening. So all that to say is, how many stores should you as a franchisor have before you start franchising? I would say at least 2 or 3. And the reason why I say that is that, operating a store or multiple stores is kind of one thing. Now, becoming a franchisor and managing all these franchisees and managing your stores, that's kind of a daunting task. I'm not saying it's not doable, but now obviously if you got more on your plate, you have to think about more things, not just manage your store, but now manage the franchisee. So I say at least 2, because that means you have at least one store that runs without you being there, right? Obviously, the more the better, because the more the better, that means you are running these particular corporate stores without you being there. And now you're getting better and better at scaling. And now through the franchise process, which is very similar as far as scaling goes, you're just using kind of other franchisees to scale your concept. Now you're using them to scale your ideas and your brand and your concept, and are using them to what am I trying to say? Now, you don't have to be there every day, right? As the store operator, you're a franchisor managing the franchisee. You're there for support, right? They may call you at the beginning, may call you every day, but as they get better and better, and for them, if you have a good concept, they're going to operate multiple stores, and they're going to rely a little bit less on you as the time goes on. So for me, everyone has every kind of different opinions, but I say at least 2 stores, maybe even 3, because that way, you've kind of gotten your groove as to operating multiple locations without you having to be there every day. Once you are kind of hands off, when you get to that point, I think, that is probably a good time to start at least thinking about franchising, because you have finally made it where you don't have to be there every day. So, hey, this is Dan. I'm talking about franchising. Someone asked me, how many stores do you need to franchise? Technical answer is 0, but for practical reasons, for sanity reasons, you probably want at least 2, so that you are familiar with how to operate a store without you being there. All right, so this is Dan talking about franchising. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.